Alright, g'day IB Psychology students. Before you submit the final draft of your IA, be sure to watch this video, listen to the advice and the tips, and make sure you don't do anything silly before you submit that final draft. Alright, so let's go through the final check for the Psychology IA. Right, now this is taken straight from the IB Psychology Guide presentation, so you have to have the title of your investigation, your candidate code, so this is different to your candidate number. Alright, so make sure you just have your candidate code. Absolutely do not put your name on it. Don't put your name anywhere in the IA, and have the candidate code for your group members, the date, month, and year of the submission, and the number of words, the word count on the front. So all of this goes on the title page of your report. Okay, in the old version of the guide, it said in the header of the report. That made no sense. They've updated it now to say the title page of the report. So here's an example here. This is an example IA that I wrote. If you have the IA Teacher Support Pack link in the description, you can have a look at this. But we can see here the title. That's how I like to do my title. There's my candidate code. These are my group members, my submission date, my word count. So real simple. That's what it looks like. Don't worry about this. I wrote an IA example that couldn't be replicated for students' purposes. So anyway, that's what a good title page looks like, except for that big red thing at the top. Appendices. So in your appendix, make sure you have the raw data tables. Do not put raw data in the body of your report. Definitely make sure you print out the calculations, or if you've used online software for your inferential statistics, screenshot it, put it in the appendices. The max you can get is 3 out of 6 if you don't do that. Informed consent form, blank. Standardized instructions and any supplementary material. So that refers to what did you use to manipulate your independent variable? Okay, was it a video? Was it a reading list? Was it, you would have probably used something or like slides. And what did you use to measure your dependent variable? You want to include that there as well. Ethical guidelines, I definitely recommend putting this in the, you can mention that in the material. So mention your consent forms and any debriefing forms in the materials that you used, and that makes sure that you've covered the ethical guidelines there as well. Okay, this is all from the Psychology Guide. Now, generally speaking, for presentation, you want to use an academic font, so Arial, minimum size 11, so Arial Times New Roman, Calibri, something like that, academic font, size 11 or 12. Single or greater line spacing, that's personal preference. Number of pages, that's not, I mean, you should do that, but it doesn't matter. And portrait orientation, I've never read an IA that's landscape, so that all makes, that's all just pretty general, straightforward. Now, a couple of things to be careful of. If you've made graphs and you've printed out in black and white, and then your teacher scanned it, you want to be really careful if you've got colored bar graphs, because sometimes, students color code their graphs, but then they print in black and white, and we can't really see it as examiners, so be careful for that. I would recommend using large headings for the major sections, so introduction, exploration, analysis, evaluation, references, appendices, right? You want to have large headings for that, and you can even break it down into subheadings. So, for example, you've got the if you've got the exploration, and then you can have a subheading: design, participants, sampling, controls, materials. Right. You might even in your evaluation, you could have subheadings that say things like strengths, limitations, modifications. Right. So that can be really helpful. So let me just explain what I meant by headings and subheadings. So we'll see here we've got the exploration. So this is the example I have put in the IA Teacher Support Pack. We have my exploration as the major heading, and then I've broken it down to procedures, research design, sampling method, participants, etc. And even here controls, I've got bullet points. And so we can see this just really helps you. It helps you see that you've hit every part of the requirement. Also helps your examiner as well. Now, just one thing, this procedures here, this isn't part of the requirements. It should be in your IA somewhere. So if it's taking out words, then put this procedures in the appendix. That's another thing you can do there. Okay, but here we can just see this is what I mean by headings and subheadings. Now, this comes from my blog post, IA Final Submission Guidelines. I'll put the link in the description there as well. Right, and that's it. That's basically it for the final major submission. Now, the big one I would say is make sure you get the title page right, because you want it to be presented nicely from the beginning, and make sure appendices are all up to date. All right, I'll be posting more videos shortly with other sections, how to do everything right, major errors to avoid. So if you want to, make sure you subscribe to the channel, then you'll get notification when they get posted. Also, you subscribe to the blog. There's loads of information on there as well. All right, now the IA Teacher Support Pack I mentioned was here. If you're a student, maybe flick the link here to your teacher. They might be interested. It's got the workbook, you can download a preview there if you link in the description as well. All right, okay, I hope that was helpful. Thank you.